You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Warning: adult topics and content. You must be legal age of majority in your location to view. We are an educational, informative talk show, and our hosts may express their opinions passionately using explicit language. No offense is intended. Take a break and tune in for some great cannabis and psychedelic chit-chat. Learn what's going on in the cannabis industry, find out what's new on the review, and enjoy a laugh or two. Join us for today's Token Talk here on the Pace Radio Network with Rev Cindy and Green Irene.
I'm sitting here just to dance along.
And here we are.
Once again.
Yes, happy Tuesday. And it is a really super happy Tuesday, isn't it?
It is. It is. I've got a few things to share that Irene has no idea about. And she's like, well, you just told me before we started. And I'm like, haha, I got something else and I haven't told you.
I know it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear. While you're telling us all that, I'm going to get our names transferred into the wheel here for this week's winners.
Well, yeah, there's only, but that's another story. We made the question last week a little hard. Just so you all know, my favorite strain, Tom Ford, and but so it makes the wheel really easy in here in a little bit. I am at my daughter's place in her basement on my little tablet, so I look kind of funny. I never really look like I'm looking right at. If I sit over here like this, maybe I'm like right at the camera. So last Tuesday, we gave away one of Irene's books, which was really, really cool. And then last Wednesday, I went to my therapy appointment, and I brought my little book with me.
Oh, very cool.
Sat down at my therapist appointment. Yes. And we started talking, and I showed her the book, and I explained to her what it was. And she gave up probably about a year and a half ago, for maybe 2 years ago, giving out cannabis prescriptions because she didn't fully understand it and didn't have a way to help people understand it. So after perusing Irene's book, she has decided that she is going to once again start giving out prescriptions for cannabis if people request it, on the condition they go and buy this book to keep track of their cannabis consumption.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's so incredible. Do you know, I will send her a few copies. That's beautiful. Oh my God.
So when I got home last Wednesday, I told Al, and I told Al Thursday morning, and then I messaged you, and I'm like, I can't fucking wait for Tuesday. And now you know why I couldn't fucking wait for Tuesday.
Oh my God, that is so freaking wonderful.
Oh, you're so excited you can't talk. I fucking love it. Yeah.
That's good. Wow. Oh, that's so good. And you know, it's so important that patients keep, especially patients. And with this 5.2 coming up, it's scary. It's scary because they're reviewing the Cannabis Act again, right? And it was such a generic question that they put into the public statement of saying, you know, and should we just abolish this? Like, should we just fluff this off, this medical program, now that there is? Could you imagine a parent with an epileptic child going into a dispensary and asking a 19, 20-year-old bud tender, what should I be giving my 5-year-old for epileptic seizures? I mean, to do away with the medical program would be horrifying, but the fact that other doctors are getting back on board and saying, yes, as long as we're going to keep track of this, oh, that's so good. And we will connect after the show. I will get the information and I will send her a box of books.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I knew you'd be ecstatic.
Yes, I am. I'm just glowing.
Okay, well, that was lots of fun. I was so excited to get on here today and do that. I hardly slept last night. All morning, I waited for Irene to text me good morning. She had a hard night last night. She slept in a little bit. So I don't know what time it was. I finally got, like, okay, you're not going to fucking message me. Morning! I was just dying. I've held on to this information for 6 days. It's been hard.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Oh wow. You know what? It's puff time. I am enjoying. This is by 1964, which is a brand that I really like. And this particular puff it's called Honeydew Grapefruit. And it's a really nice blend.
When I was in Ontario driving around, I met the manager of one of the stores in Meaford, Ontario, actually. And he gave me some heavy indica. I can't remember what it was called. But he gifted me some heavy indica by 1964. And it was fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
I really do love them as a brand name. And it's funny because we kind of knew this during legalization that ultimately brand names would become a thing. Something I want to really point out, another reason to really keep track of your product and your cannabis consumption is between brands, there's going to be a difference. So like, for example, when I was recording, because I've been recording my consumption for a couple of years, every time I try a new strain. And figure, so FIGR versus one spliff versus 1964 versus general admission. There's 4 different brand names. One strain called Black Cherry Punch is entirely different according to the brand. So the cannabinoid THC ranges from 16% to 29%, depending on the brand. Whether or not it's indica leaning or sativa leaning changes according to the brand, but the strain name is the same. So.
Yep. Yeah, and it's how they cure it. And I found the same thing with my favorite strain, Tom Ford out west. I mean, I was gifted one and it was phenomenal. And then when I went back out west, the same grower, different plant, same strain. I got an ounce of that. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah. Not at all what you were expecting, right?
No. Now, it was still a good burn. It still burned clean. It was still good meds. But the taste and terp profile was absolutely different than the first one. And I did not enjoy it.
No, and it's crazy how easy that can change, how easy that is to change up. Yeah, I just wanted to get into our comments section there. There we go. My brain cells are still igniting and waking up. Honest to God, I had a terrible night last night. Couldn't sleep. Part of it was my own fault. I had kind of I had watched a documentary about an hour before getting into my sleep routine, and it overstimulated my brain. So my thoughts were going amok. And so anyways, I thought, okay, you know what? I'm not sleeping. It was around 11:30 at night. I went and got, some friends back in the day had a company called Baked on the Bay. And they did amazing medicinals from up north. I don't think the company is in existence anymore. Unfortunately, they were one that kind of got flushed out by the retail market. Too much, right? And too many challenges, too many hoops to jump through, which was really sad because they had an amazing kitchen and phenomenal products. I still have a fair bit of their product left in my freezer. A lot of their sample pieces where this, the labels didn't work and here, throw those in your freezer, get those away kind of thing. And so I used to give away a lot. Now I've got a little bit left over. So I got into one of my brownies last night, 500 milligrams, definitely the full 500 milligrams, the real calculations done. And I know better than to eat the whole brownie. It's also 11 o'clock at night. I know that edibles take a little bit longer because I have a slower metabolism. So I ate half the brownie and I kicked back and started reading my book. Woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, didn't know where I was, completely confused, really stuffed up in the head. And I know I got this whole cold sinus thing starting. So I got up, kind of wandered around, went and made myself, a hot lemon water with a little bit of ginger in it, climbed back into bed, saw the brownie there and went, oh, that looks yummy. Ate more brownie. Woke up.
No wonder you're messaging me at 5. No, I'm going to exaggerate and say 5 to 11. She was not that late. And said, I'm here.
Oh, it was terrible. Well, and I missed my early morning meeting, just simply because I got up an hour late and went an hour after the meeting was on operation. And it's kind of like, yeah, but why is everybody messaging me? Maybe it's not Monday.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, coffee in hand, puffing in between my fingers, and we're good to go. And then great news. What a wonderful Tuesday. Oh my God, that is so exciting.
Yeah, no, I thought that was fantastic. When I was leaving her, leaving my appointment, she made sure that I was going to send her the link to get her patients to buy them. I mean, like I said, I mean, like when she said that to me, I thought that was just absolutely flipping amazing. Like, what a great way. And that's not why I showed her either. Like, I mean, I went and I showed her, and I thought it was something neat, and I wanted to show off, and I figured she would have the idea of having like a book just to write in. But she loves your book. She loves that it comes with information and it comes with recipes, and she just thinks it's absolutely fantastic.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Never mind my day. I think you've made my year, Cindy.
Well, we'll leave that to Dr. Warren. We'll give that honor to Dr. Warren for making your year. Everything happens for a reason, and I'm a true believer in that. And obviously, this is one of the reasons why you and I have started talking and have become friends, because I was meant to take that book to her. And of course, it gets me in the mindset that we should really get that into every doctor's hands.
Absolutely.
It's a great tool.
And it's casual. It's nice in that, I mean, I can comfortably leave mine sitting on the coffee table and not worry about who steps into. Now, I mean, I don't worry about who steps into the room anyway, but they could pick it up and start to flip through it and say, oh, did you try that? And I can say things like, yeah, but be careful which brand you get it from, right?
Yep.
Banana Kush, fantastic strain from BC. From the East Coast, not so good. I find it's got a very diesel-y taste from the East Coast, and from the West Coast.
If you get dirty banana here is better than dirty banana there. Exactly.
And that's and I think part of it has to do with the environment if it's being grown outdoors. But people question, and I've had some, just general people in general say, yeah, but what if it's being done hydroponically? Well, yeah, but it's still your water source. It's still, unless you're filtering your water and using, and really putting a whole lot of changed work into this, you're better off just to go with a new strain or East Coast Banana Kush or East Coast Dirty Banana, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I have something in my eye.
Oh.
So yeah, if you don't have this book yet, we have shared any number of times. You can go back. I'm sure that over the future, we will share the link many more times as we share pictures, or at least as I share pictures of the book and whatnot. So yeah, it's an amazing book. It is now psychiatrist recommended.
I love it.
Which is pretty cool. It's just I'm so excited for Green Irene here to be breaking into. I mean, you were doing it for the medical world anyway, but to have somebody who's medicinal backing it is just super fucking
the medical
amazing.
Support, yeah, or the support of the medical industry for sure. And the thing, and it's really exciting because from the patient's perspective, do you know how valuable? Well, you do, I do. And probably anybody out there listening understands the value of being in control of your own health and wellness. Being actively engaged in what's going on with your health and wellness. You know what? No, I tried that strain and something about it didn't work for me. compared to this strain. So what's the difference between those two strains, right? And taking charge of your own health and wellness is so freaking empowering. It's kind of like that springboard to getting you back on their train to healing, right? To healing thyself. Oh, there I go, preaching.
No, you are showing exactly how excited you are that a psychiatrist has endorsed your book.
It's wonderful.
And it's really pretty exciting. I mean, like, the smile on your face talking about it today is a little different than the smile on your face talking about it last week.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited that I could be the middle woman for that, you know.
Cindy.
It's just really cool because I know that I'm not just I haven't just put a smile on your face, but now I've given help to my psychiatrist to be able to help other people, and those other people are the people that are really going to benefit from it, right? So exactly. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. And I've almost finished formatting, because as you know, I have the entire series of Info is Power. And it actually goes from A to Z with different conditions. And that's what I do on Friday's show now with the battle strategies. Now, of course, the books go into a lot more depth as well as worksheets and stuff. But so, for example, this week coming up, I'm talking about decalcifying depression and then defeating it. So we decalcify using, we chip away at it using NLP. It's how we talk to ourselves. It's how we change our own minds. It's how we recondition ourselves and retrain our brains. But then the next step is to totally deflect it and get rid of it, right? To defeat it. And so that's where we use the hypnosis and the cannabis. And a lot of people get really scared of cannabis when it comes to mental illness or mental health, simply because there is a lot of stigmatism associated with it still because of the old archaic attitudes. But also because cannabis can be biphasic in that it can make you paranoid if you're not familiar with it. So
yeah, if you, I'm just agreeing with you because, and that's one of the issues. Pardon me, I'm coughing as I'm inhaling. One of the issues that my doctor was having with it, she was writing a prescription and sending people off, and they were ordering whatever sounded good to them. Oh, look, I like this, and I like the sound of this sour amnesia. That sounds yummy. Holy Joe Jitzel, that's an extremely high side sativa. And if you give that to somebody that has panic and anxiety, which comes with paranoia, oh, you've just screwed them.
Yeah, exactly. And so there are certain strains and really a lot of the strains, like Dr. Sulak is amazing. He has worked he has worked for cannabis as a therapeutic solution for probably since 2010, 2012, something like that, quite a few years anyways. That being said, he has really, between him and Dr. Ethan Russo, they've really been able to define some standardized phenotypes that generally work across the board. So much like an antidepressant, when a doctor prescribes you an antidepressant, they often say, and monitor for the next 10 days. If you see your symptoms increasing, come back, stop the prescription. We've got to change it to the other way, because they don't really know either. Medication is also biphasic. It's not just cannabis. So with cannabis, we actually have more control simply because we've got all this background research. But in addition to that, it's not going to kill us. It's the worst that's going to happen is you're going to go to sleep or you're going to get the jitters, and it's natural. It's not lethal, right?
If you take too much Effexor, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Or do yourself some pretty serious harm.
Not to mention the brain damage from long-term use. We end up, neurons that fire together, wire together. So if we stop firing certain neurons because it causes us pain or discomfort, and we put blockers there, those neurons don't fire. After a while, they go to sleep and they don't wake back up. We end up with a black or gray spot in that part of the brain because the neurons fired in a new, different way, right?
Now we have learned that we can introduce psilocybin and get those refired.
right?
Because I mean, I've got a patient now. I just had a lady come to me, and she's on 2 meds. She's on Ativan, which is just terrible, and the antidepressant she's on is Effexor, which is why I mentioned it earlier. And she goes, and I'm fine with staying on that because it doesn't do me any harm. And I'm like, who the fuck is your doctor?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is your pharmacist? It doesn't do you any harm. Oh my God, it's killing your liver. It's killing your brain cells. Your entire urinary tract is going to have issues because of what it's doing to the liver. That's eventually going to back up. Like, I mean, it's just, and it's hard to talk to people that have had that reefer madness for lack, like, I mean, like, had the pharmaceuticals pushed and been told that it's okay. Trust your doctor. I mean, like, 30 years ago, trust your doctor. In today's age, man, that's the last person you should trust.
Well, it's frightening
really?
to trust just that person for sure. And
it's terrifying.
One of the questions I ask, because you're right. And when I first started practicing NLP and hypnosis, I was like, wow, like, I remember this in a training program, and my trainer, my instructor actually came over and said to me, what were you just thinking? And I said, I don't want to say it. And he said, say it. And I said, like, how could they be so stupid as to not realize that this is affecting their life? And he says, wow, is that ever presumptuous of you? And I kind of sat back and went, yeah, it is. Like, I just assumed that they would be subjected to information that would provide them with an alternative logic. So from that point forward, I really started to step back. There was a couple of other examples of why we don't make assumptions. And when we don't have enough information, we just ask questions. And so, for example, I had somebody recently say to me, but I'm okay taking this because I have this condition. And so this medication helps me to do that. And it's not harming me. And I said, okay, what would you consider harm to yourself? And I wrote down some of the specifics of what she said that I knew she didn't have all the information for, obviously, in my opinion. And so then we carried on the conversation, and I kept asking these questions wherever I felt there was a lack of information. And then we went back over those questions in a different kind of way. And she was able to say, wow, I really should look into this. And unfortunately, there's a pharmacist out there who's really pissed off at me because probably just lost about $80 a week, thanks to me.
But I mean, that's what I'm doing with this lady. When I go to meet with her, I'm taking information like, here's the real information on the prescription, and I won't call it a drug. I'll call it a medication for her at the beginning, right? Here's the information on the prescription medication that the doctor is giving. Here's all the side effects that can come up from it. And then I'm going to take her information on both because she's curious about cannabis. I'm going to take her information on cannabis and the side effects from cannabis. If you take too much, you fall asleep type thing. You could green out and all that stuff, but nothing that's going to actually harm you. And then I'm also going to take her information on mushrooms, because if she microdoses with mushrooms, she can get better effects than what the Effexor is given, right? No matter if she's deemed that she needs it or not, she can have a natural supplement that is going to do better for her than the pills that she's taken. And on average, people normally take their antidepressant 3 times a day. So she's taking at least 3 pills a day. And I don't know this for sure because I haven't sat down and actually had that chat with her. When she can take 1 microdose, so 1 cap every 3 days, and probably get the same effect, if not better.
Right.
And help her neurons fire better in her brain. Because just
well, this is one of the really exciting things about mushrooms and psilocybin, right? Like, I mean, I would if I wasn't so neck deep in cannabis, like with the cannabis studies, I would really love to afford some time to do some studies towards the psilocybin and the mushrooms. Fortunately, I have enough beautiful people in my world like yourself, like Ashley, Steve here on the Pace Radio. That's so exciting. So I have enough valuable people in my life that can provide me with that information. And the way that I see, from what I've seen of the research, just in flashes, so I cannot speak to this in depth by any stretch of the imagination, but the way mushrooms work biologically, never mind scientifically, biologically, with our brains, with the neurons in our brains, getting these things firing. I mean, the excitement in the brain, in gray matter that was inactive historically, that is now remuscleizing, the retraining of the brain, retraining of the brain. And using mushrooms for that purpose is just phenomenal. I mean, the research and the studies that are starting to happen, I mean, they get me, they get me elevated. You know, it's like woohoo.
Yeah, like my person, like I mean, like I meet a lot of cannabis warriors, a lot of psychonaut warriors, you know, and I have found over the years that everybody's main focus is to fight cancer, which I think is a great focus. Amazing people out there fighting this. I don't suffer from cancer. I suffer heavily from some PTSD, actually complex PTSD. So that has become my focus of choice. And I have discovered as I'm going along that these psychedelic meds are actually way better for fighting my nemesis.
Yes.
I mean, cannabis helps. It's absolutely wonderful. But if you really want to fight that PTSD demon, those depression demons, like, I mean, psychedelics are the way to go. The best way to start is with psilocybin. I mean, Golden Teachers, they're a nice, simple, easy to take med. They don't really make you hallucinate like you know, a penis envy or an albino Avery or a B+ would, right? They're very, very mild, and it's what I have watched in my friends that have decided to start microdosing because they've watched me microdose has just been absolutely fantastic. It's been beautiful. My own little experiment. I don't really have a control group, but I guess the rest of the world is my control group. But it's been 100% success rate. Everybody that I have successfully gotten microdosing has stuck with it and has had a huge change, like huge life-changing change. And it's been beautiful to watch.
I've watched the journeys online of a few different people, yourself inclusive, as you know, and that little stalker in the background watching you. But there's been a few people that I know would never have considered. I know a few people from just my circle, social circles, that again would never have considered mushrooms as an option for coping and dealing. But during the isolation of COVID, they did not want to turn to pharmaceuticals, and they and cannabis already being in their life, they didn't know how to use it therapeutically. I'm not sure if they even considered it, but they went straight to the mushrooms, and blue honey was a very popular thing in the circle, which is just infused honey, you know, mushroom infused honey, right? So just like we infuse cannabis, you can infuse mushrooms. And so they were, and huge differences in their personalities, and I shouldn't say personalities, in their well, I guess it is in the personality, because they were able to step out of their shell and to talk a little more easily and effortlessly, and you know, not feel so tense and uptight all the time, or sad with negative thinking patterns and that sort of thing. So, you know, it really did help bring them out, making them feel better. And I know a few that stayed on a mushroom regime of 21 days on and 10 days off, or whatever it is. I mean, I'm just pulling shit out of my brain at that point.
There's different ones, and psilocybin is very much like cannabis. It, you know, they suggest, like, I mean, I did a bunch of studies when I first started microdosing, and it is suggested to start with X amount of milligrams every third day, but it's different for everybody. I know some people that do it 3 days and don't do it for 2. I know some people that do a big dose once a week. I know some people that do it every second day. So it all really just you find what works for you, and it doesn't really take that long, to be honest. Like, I mean, right. It's not like modern medicine where, you know, you're given your pill and it'll start working in the next 4 to 8 weeks. You know, you take psilocybin and you'll know by your second dose if you know, how well it's working. Do I need to take more? Do I need to take less? Too strong? this was great, but I don't really feel like a lot of effect for me. So maybe I need a stronger mushroom. I mean, it really, it doesn't take that long. If you really want to give it a try, you pay attention to how it makes you feel. And by your third dose, you know that you have to change something. But it still helps you in the meantime. Like, it's not like it's, okay, well, it's not doing anything, I have to switch it up. It's like, okay, well, this is what it's doing for me, and I needed to do this more. And then so you go to a mushroom that does that work. I mean, but it works right from the first get-go. First microdose you take.
Right? And how cool is that? And again, it's natural. You're not, it's not lethal. Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. You know, I see a lot of overdoses. As you know, I do every year I will do like a mental health clinic. It's like a first aid clinic to go and deal with to be there as a first aid respondent during a mental health crisis. And there's so much overdose. And so it's nice to see these natural substances like mushrooms or cannabis or, you know.
And just to put it out there, be careful on what mushrooms you do take, because the Amanita, if prepared incorrectly, can hurt you.
Okay, now Amanita, is that the little red ones with the little white dots on them?
Mushroom, yeah, that's the one that Santa Claus came from, actually. Yeah, this is Santa Claus.
I remember reading that in Ashley's book, something about that. Yeah. Or in some of her research studies or something. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't know. I digress.
I love mushrooms. They're an amazing, I don't even know what they are. They're an amazing fungi. Like, I mean, it's just, they're not really a plant. They're not really a meat. They're kind of their own little thing off doing, off controlling the world, right? Like, the entire world talks to each other through the fungi.
It's amazing.
It's really
absolutely cool. Amazing. Very cool. Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with mushrooms at all. I've done a little bit of microdosing in my teas, like during some really difficult times. Winter is very bad for me. I am one of those persons that struggles with seasonally affected depression. And it triggers all of the CPTSD, the complex PTSD. But I've, in the last few years, I've really gotten it well under control, comparatively speaking. So, it's all about being a survivor and becoming a better warrior and working at being a warrior. And that's what I do. And I do it all naturally. And I know that this year I will be incorporating mushrooms into my strategy plan. In a microdosing capacity, right? So
that makes me excited. Like, I really do, because as you were telling me that you get seasonal, I had seasonal up until I started microdosing. I don't have seasonal depression anymore, thanks to mushrooms.
Very cool.
So I'm so excited to watch you this winter and see how it helps you. That's like pretty thrilling.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited about starting it. And again, I'm microdosing. I'm not, so I will be on a regime and I'll share through the show.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
How are we doing?
I think it is just about break time.
I think so. And, yeah. Oh, let me just get that up there. Yes, we are at break time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Imagine that. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to pop us over to a message from our sponsors. And when we return, we will talk about our great giveaways. And something happened last week, so we'll talk about that too. Okay. And we'll be back in just 2 and 2, sort of, guys. See you in a bit.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection. We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from, the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and in the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyndonega.
We have 2 lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
Cool.
Welcome back.
We're
here.
Yeah. I was lost. I was reading emails. And I was looking to see our contest entries for last week's giveaway to add them to the wheel. Oh, look at me. Look at this. See, you can tell I'm having a hard day, Cindy. Look at, I've got these on my head. I've got these on my face, and I'm about to put them.
It's too funny.
Good
Yes,
God.
yes. Apparently deciding what strain I absolutely love was a little hard.
Yeah, you said it 100 bazillion times. I'm not sure how many times you said it, and it was Tom Ford was the answer we were looking for. And we got, and oddly enough, we only got 2 entries, which really surprised me. But yay, guys, or ladies and gentlemen, or, yay, entrance. Is that a word? Entrance? Yeah, I guess with a T, not a C, right? Entrance.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And one had the correct answer and one didn't. So, we're not going to spin the wheel because I believe our winner had the right answer and is the only entry with the right answer.
With the correct answer. Yeah. Other entrants got the wrong answer. So congratulations, Bonnie.
Yay, Bonnie! Bonnie Noden, you are this week's winner of last week's giveaway package. And that had all the rolling papers and stuff in it too, right? Like,
what's really great about her is I get to save money. I actually know her. She lives here in Nova Scotia, so I can save postage.
Shipping and handling, right? And that does become an issue because we kind of got a little bit lucky with the previous winner. His book was sent to him via Amazon, and then I just shipped out. Actually, I just got back both your feathers. That's your feather roach clips, which can also act as a bookmark. So as you know, I make these little things, right? And I add them because they act as a bookmark. They act as a roach clip. And if you want to leave a note for somebody in your book, you just put the card in here. Hey, check this out. Right? So
perfect.
I give these away. So I sent these out. Well, as it turns out, because I had wrapped it in bubble wrap, it made the package too thick to go through whatever thing for Canada Post. So they sent it back to me. And so I brought it into the post office and I said, what's the problem with this? And she says, well, if you want to send them out as packages, they're $20 and change. Or make sure they fit through this slot and it's $2. Okay, guess what? I'm taking it home, rewrapping these suckers, and I'll send them out.
Yeah, that's a bit of a difference, right?
Right? But yeah, I mean, packaging does become an issue. Shipping and handling becomes an issue, which is one of the reasons why if anybody wants to help support us, either by sending in some swag that we can give away, and we're happy to, plug you and promote you and read up all about you and let's talk. But at the same time, we need help with the shipping and handling because, well, it takes a toll on both our purses, right?
Yep. What the great thing is, though, we were having a chat with Al, and if somebody wants to sponsor us and help with the shipping and handling, they will end up with a 30-second spot that we will play before the giveaway every week. So you end up with a commercial once a week here on the Pace Radio Network.
That's right. Which is really kind of cool. And Pace Radio Network is part of the cbgtv.com broadcasting group. And there we are live on Boxcast. So if you have one of those smart TVs, you could be watching us right now on TV via Boxcast. So if you have like Roku or whatever it is that's a smart TV, look for the Boxcast app. And when you find the app, you just search for our channel, cbgtv.com, and there we are. And all of our broadcasts from a variety of different broadcasting networks are on cbgtv.com.
Yes, all good things come in threes, and apparently so does CBGTV. So we are on to this week's giveaway, which comes with a story. I went to a craft fair over the weekend, and I met this artist who wrote a kids book. My friend that went with me bought the kids book because she's been looking for funky kids books for her daughter. So she bought it after just flipping through it quick, and that's fine. So later on that evening, we went back to my place and we ate a copious amount of mushrooms, and we read it. And if you're going to buy this book, read it on mushrooms. Anyway, so it's called A Trip to Saturn, and it is by a writer and artist called Jacob Rolfe. Now, Jacob, some of you might know, Jacob was he was part of the Trailer Park Boys TV show that filmed out of Nova Scotia here, which was huge. And of course, in the cannabis and psychedelic world, 99.9% of people, even if you don't watch the show, know exactly who the Trailer Park Boys are. And Irene and I had that conversation earlier. I mean, I don't watch these guys, but you can't help but know who they are.
Yeah, I'm not a TV person. And as soon as you said Trailer Park Boys, right away I had a commercial. I had a visual in my brain. I knew who they were, and I know they're Canadian. And it's like, oh, cool. That must have been such an awesome experience. The Trailer Park Boys, even if you don't watch the show, you know the Trailer Park Boys.
And it's not hard. Yeah, he's not one of the 3 Trailer Park Boys, but he played a part on the show during a season or multiple seasons. I don't watch it, so I don't know what he played. I just know that he was part of Trailer Park Boys. So he wrote it. He's an artist. It's even this particular one is even autographed to me. Way to go, Cindy! All for me. So we took it home and we read it. My friend and I did. We read her copy while we were high on mushrooms, and I said, "Oh God, I need to own that." So I went back the next day and bought my own copy. And I said, "Do you mind if I talk about you and give one away?" And he said, "Absolutely not." So whoever wins, this will be autographed for you. Your copy will be an autographed copy as well.
How cool is that?
Personalized to you. So the little boy says, "Oh boy, it's bedtime." It was bedtime. So a little boy put on his long johns. It's just a really cute story. Wait do you guys see all of this? The artwork is phenomenal, right?
Look at that. That's great.
So he closed his eyes. Yes. Yeah, Jacob did everything, right? So the little boy closed his eyes and started to dream, and he found himself in a strange place. Let me flip to the next page. Oh, hi, Mr. Bear, he said. And they began to swim together. They arrived at an iceberg and sat for a while. And then a friendly fish came along and offered some food. I think he has soup, explained the bear. I'm trying to show you this page. Here we go. Oops. And then they fall down a hole and oops, no soup. See? It's fish dudes.
Oh,
little
geez.
fishmen. Oops, no soup. There's only mushrooms.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Look at that.
So, thanks, fish face. And they ate up the mushrooms. So it's snack time, and there is the little boy and the bear eating the mushrooms together.
Oh, very cool.
And then after they ate the mushrooms, they stepped onto the northern lights. Wonder what kind of mushrooms they were. And they rode the northern lights like a sleigh.
Very cool. And how many of us actually dream of that, right? Like
all the time.
Yeah.
And they rode the northern lights all through the galaxy. They jumped and they floated towards a planet off the northern lights that they were riding like a sleigh. And they landed softly. Boing! Where are we? Asked the boy. Saturn, replied the bear.
The rings of Saturn.
Saturn was pretty cool. They discovered strange spaceships. So Jacob did all of this. It's pretty freaking cool. And he's got an adult version of this book that he's going to send me as well, or I'm going to buy. Nice space kitty. So there's even a space kitty for all of you kitty cat lovers in space.
Oh, I love this. I love this. And you know what? Yeah, I've got to check this book out. This is too cool. This is very cool.
They flew further and further away till they could see the whole Milky Way.
Oh, look at that. How cool.
I will share when I go back to do it, I will share his website on I'll on my page, and we'll share it to Pace Radio and whatnot.
Sure, and I'll make up the odd for the giveaway for this week. We'll get some contestants who would like to win a copy of this book, a signed copy of this book. So you can send me some photographs and stuff.
Yeah, and then they returned home.
Oh,
so in the back of the book, and that's the end. In the back of the book, there are 2 coloring pages.
Oh, very nice. Right on.
And then pages. There are a few blank pages, so you can be creative yourself.
Oh, that is
so that
beautiful.
Is the book.
That is beautiful.
I realized that I was kind of shaky here on my little tablet, but I think you all get the idea. We will make sure that we post where you can go buy this. Like I'll put, his personal page. It's an absolutely fantastic book. Whoever wins, it will be autographed personally to you, or to your child, or to your friend, to somebody you want to gift it to. So yeah, get your answers in on what. Well, no, we're not going to announce the question until later. Get your answers in when we announce it. Shut up, Cindy. And you can win a trip to Saturn by Jacob Rolfe, who was, like we said, he was one of the actors on the Trailer Park Boys. Hi, Kimberly. So that's what I found over the weekend.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And that book looks so cool. Like, you know what? I'm thinking my grandson, Christmas is around the corner. Ashley will go, "Ooh, I love it." Right? So
well, yeah. And you can get her the adult version of this.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's on the web. Yes. It's on the website too.
I need all of that information so that we can get the contest announced and promo this fellow from the Trailer Park Boys, and at the same time, it'll give me the connection. And yes, I will be in touch with him because that's awesome, right, yes. Kimberly? It is. It's so cool.
He's pretty cool. You can actually find him. On Instagram, Floating World Studios is his name.
Floating.
If anybody wants to go look him up, we will share this when we announce, like when we put up the question and whatnot for the thing. But just if anybody wants to go find him right quick, Floating World Studios, Floating period World period Studios.
Okay, perfect, and that's on Instagram. Awesome.
That's his ID.
I just made myself a little sticky note. That's so cool. So cool. Yeah, so that's our giveaway this week, which means, okay, so do you want to announce that giveaway? Let me just see if I can get back to Brand. Okay, hold on. We gotta do it because, hold on. There was no music with it. Wow.
Oh no.
I don't know what happened to the music. There's behind it, but it's not there. I guess next time you and I will just have to yell in the background.
Well, yeah, now that we know, we're like, yay, woo, yay.
Right. I said, I remember when I first started doing videos, the Info is Power series. I was working from my apartment. That's beautiful. So this is the book. Okay, I'm going to put you full screen for a moment, and then I'm going to put up how you win the contest. So yeah, let's just.
You can keep talking about whatever. I was just playing Vanna White.
I love it, and it's not working properly for me anyway. So that's okay. So I'm going to put this up now. This is how you win. You basically figure out what the catchphrase or the trivia question is. That validates your entry, and then you just send that validation, that question or catchphrase with your name to TEA and toke TOKE at Hotmail before 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday evening. As long as we get your entry in by then, I should have you on the wheel. I shouldn't be doing it at the last minute like I was today. But hey, you know what? I'm human too. I am.
Yes, absolutely. We all are. And just so you know, I am working on a page for us. I'm not really great on that, so it takes me a little bit longer to do this than other people. But I'm getting it done. So you will eventually have a Tea and Toke page that you can come see Green Irene and I on and reach us through that page.
Oh, that's right. The group page on Facebook. That's fantastic. So yes, and all of our contest entries and everything will be there. Like all of this information will be available to you on that page, as well as anything else that we've got going on, right? Because there are some live events that I'm looking forward to getting together to do. I'm already looking at summer because I don't want to think about winter.
I'm looking at April because, of course, we will be. I'll be heading out to British Columbia for 420.
That is
which
so
will be wicked.
cool.
I'm so excited. But that'll give us literally, I think, almost people from time zone to time zone for a 420 celebration. Like literally people there. We'll have Glenn here on the Atlantic coast and people going right out. It'll be pretty neat.
I think that's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be an awesome, an awesome event. 420, absolutely. I think that was my very first intro to the cannabis community on a whole. I believe it would have been in or around 2016, 2015. I went to my very first ever 420 event in downtown Toronto. And I was with a group of friends and family. And we kind of gathered, and I just couldn't believe the masses and the crowds and the support for the cannabis for medicinal purposes as well as recreational, and the mass support for recognition of information. And I loved it. So myself, the following year, I believe in 2016, I believe it was, I hosted the very first 420 event ever held in our area where I was living, which the puritanical town of Penetanguishene, and I held it in La Fontaine, which is one of the most conservative, very Catholic, very French community, old school. I was very impressed to see the open-mindedness and the, hey, okay, Irene, show us what you got here. And it's like, okay, I will. But it was really, really cool. So 420 kind of has a special soft reminiscent spot for me, in addition to the fact that it's a globally recognized celebration, and a lot of people don't know where 420 comes from.
No, of course, there's all kinds of stories that fly around.
Yeah, there's two specific histories, and statistically, there's a statistic research as well. So historically, it had something to do with college or university students and the Grateful Dead. They used to listen to the Grateful Dead. And so after classes, their classes kind of meshed up all around the same time. They had that moment in time to take a break, whether it was 4:10 to, whatever, before their next class or before their next activity. And so they could gather at about, so the code became 4:20, and they would meet at this statue at about that hour for a puff. And the Grateful Dead had something to do with it, which is why they became known as the Potheads. 420 was the celebration for potheads. That's the story I know. I also know that statistically, a radio station, East Coast, but stateside, so I'm not sure exactly where. But this radio station said, hey, I wonder what time everybody does a puff. I wonder if it has any. And so they checked it out. And most people were on their way home from work, or it was at their end of their shift, or they were on that break. Just if they were on afternoon shift, they were on their first break and had the rest of the afternoon. And so 420 across East Coast to West Coast, across North America, people, that is the most weed was actually being consumed was around that time. So I thought that was really kind of a cool statistic too. Now, how accurate it is and how scientific, like I said, it was introduced by a radio station. So who really knows? But
yeah. And by that point in time, the 420 had been set in by the older college student story. So a lot of people, I know I watched my clock for 420 and 7:10.
Oh, always, yeah. It's like, oh shit, it's 420. Go spark it up. Like, I feel like Pavlov's dog, right? Ding.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you know what though? It's nice to be able to have a recreational vice that, even if you are sitting completely alone in your abandoned apartment building and you haven't seen another human being for the last 90 some odd days, yada, 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 that somebody around the globe is also sparking up at the same time as you, because it is a global, universal code for spark a joint. Do you know what else cannabis is, that whole spark a joint is universal for? I saw it on, I don't know, some post, and I went, wow, so true. It's like the stoners, I'm sorry. You're fighting with your roommate, and it's like, hey man, you want to smoke a joint? It's like that universal, I'm sorry.
We're going to lose podcast in about a minute and a half.
Oh, right. Oh, see, I'm terrible at this whole timing thing, right? Okay, so if you want to share, okay, so are we just going to announce it in our posts, or would you like to announce the question of the week to win a copy of this book?
Well, we'll announce it in the post. But we know that we know what the question is going to be. So, yep. Just email us, tandtoke@hotmail.com and tell us what TV show Jacob Rolfe, the author / artist of this book. Did I freeze?
Yeah, you did, but that's okay. We got it here. Okay, so that's, everybody got that. Basically, check out our website. It will be on the website. We're about to go off the air. Check out our website. Check out the new Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe. We will see you there. On that note, we are out.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during